What is North Sentinel Island, a historical humans production? From Myanmar to Sumatra, a 620-mile stretch of islands arcs southwards, forming the boundary between the Bay of Bengal and the Andaman Sea. Hidden amongst these 620 miles of Pacific islands is the only place one living person has visited. But the island is not uninhabited. In fact, it is home to an entire tribe of people, the Sentinelese. This begs the question, just what is North Sentinel Island? Located along an ancient trade route between India and Myanmar, the Andaman and Nicobar Islands, of which North Sentinel Island is a part, became an administrative district of the British Empire in 1872 and a Union Territory of India in 1956. North Sentinel Island itself is a small islet of the Andaman branch of the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. It is surrounded by shallow coral reefs and possesses no natural harbors. The inhabitants of North Sentinel Island, the Sentinelese, are among the last uncontacted peoples on Earth. Isolationists, fiercely hostile towards outsiders, and protected under Indian law, the Sentinelese have been allowed to exist without any formal contact with the outside world. The Sentinelese have remained so successfully isolated from the rest of the outside world. The Sentinelese have remained so successfully isolated from the rest of the world that even the anthropologists who have taken to studying them via satellite photography and other forms of long-distance viewing do not know how many Sentinelese live on the island. Estimates range from between 50 to 500 inhabitants. A 2011 attempt at a remote census indicated somewhere between 80 and 150 people living in total isolation on the island. The Sentinelese are believed to be related to the other indigenous peoples of the Andaman Island, such as the Onji and Jarara, but have been isolated for so great of a period that their language is no longer intelligible to them. A history of general hostility by the Sentinelese towards visitors to their island has largely limited attempts to communicate with them. The first encounter the Sentinelese had with outsiders occurred in 1867 with the wreck of the Indian vessel the Nineveh. 86 passengers and 20 crewmen made it ashore. They were let alone by the Sentinelese for 3 days before the indigenous peoples unsuccessfully attempted to drive them back into the sea. An uneasy armistice followed until a Royal Navy ship arrived to retrieve the shipwreck survivors. In 1880, a Royal Navy officer by the name of Maurice Vidal Portman landed on the island with a large party of naval officers and convicts in an effort to discover the Sentinelese. Portman found hastily abandoned villages and was unable to ascertain the location of the majority of the Sentinelese inhabitants. He did succeed in capturing an elderly couple and 4 children. All 6 Sentinelese quickly became gravely ill, and when the elderly couple died, Portman decided to abandon the 4 sick children on the beach of North Sentinel Island, among a small pile of gifts. In 1896, an escapee of the Great Andaman Island Penal Colony floated by raft to North Sentinel Island. He was found days later by British authorities, his throat cut and his body shot full of arrow wounds. In 1975, a ship carrying King Leopold III of Belgium was fired upon for passing too close to the island, much to the apparent delight of His Majesty, and in 1981, the Primrose ran aground in North Sentinel Island, but all survivors were rescued by helicopter before the Sentinelese reacted to the intrusion. Today, the legal penalties for violating their protected status as an uncontacted and isolated tribe with their reputation for hostility towards outsiders has largely deterred most from attempting contact. Unfortunately, this has not stopped some people from trying, often with fatal results. Among the latest and most famous incidents is that of an American who in 2018 was killed after smuggling himself onto North Sentinel Island in the hopes of converting the Sentinelese people to evangelical Christianity. Based on a small series of visits to the island by Indian anthropologist Triloknath Pandit that began in 1967, we know several things about the Sentinelese culture. The Sentinelese are a hunter-gatherer people who built lean-to huts with slanted roofs that face one another. Outside each hut is a carefully tended fire pit. They build smaller outrigger canoes which they fish and harvest crabs. They utilize bows and arrows, spears, and knives which they use to great effect both for hunting and driving off outsiders. Pandit, who spent 25 years establishing relations with and in 1991 made the only friendly contact with the Sentinelese people, and history believes their reputation for hostility and violence to be exaggerated. He believes the Sentinelese are not innately violent and, based on his own experiences, only resort to injuring and killing when outsiders ignore signs ranging from threatening gestures to actual warning shots fired at the area around them. All visitation to the island was suspended by the Indian government in 1996, and North Sentinel Island has continued to exist in isolation, much as it has done its entire history ever since. The lack of colonization and cultural exchange that has occurred on North Sentinel Island has allowed the Sentinelese to become one of the last uncontacted peoples in the world, despite several interactions with the outside world. If you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to leave a like down below. If there's a topic that you would like to see, please let us know down in the comments below. And don't forget to hit the little notification bell so you don't miss out on any future content. Thank you for watching.